Artemis Scantilides. I'm the co-owner of Iron Body Studios in Boston, Mass. And I'm also the writer of the blog Iron Body by Artemis and the creator of the Strength Workshop series, I'm Not Afraid to Lift. And today I'm just going to go through a really quick pistol squat tutorial, how to start from level 1 and continue to progress and work all the way up to level 3. So if you've never done a pistol squat before and it's one of your goals, a great way to start is to start by using the TRX, or if you don't have a TRX available, you can also use rings and just have them hang low. So for the TRX, you want to set it up so that the straps are at mid-length. So you just pull them down until they are at that middle yellow tick there. And then what you're going to do is set yourself up so that you want to extend back so that the straps are not taut, but they're taut, tight, but they don't have any slack in them. And you want to set it up so that your elbows fall underneath your shoulders. And then from here, you just stand on one leg, and it's just a single leg squat with the TRX. So standing on one leg. As you stand here, you want to keep lots of tension through your free leg and really drive through your heels. You want to keep this tense, keep that tension. And elbows are underneath your shoulders, and then as you come down, you're just going to lower yourself down to a range of motion that's comfortable for you. Ideally, you want to get 90 degrees, hip in line with your knee, 90 degrees. I can get pretty low to the ground. Some people will be able to get pretty low to the ground. And then to come back up, you're going to initiate coming back up by driving through the standing leg. And then there will be a point that your arms are going to help you a little bit. So you want to come down, drive through that foot, let your arms help you a little bit coming up. What you don't want to do with your arms is you do not want to pull your body up, like really just pull this way. So you want to get that initial push with your foot and then just let your arms guide you and let them help you. So with that, you want to work with the TRX, or if you don't have a TRX and you're using rings, you want to do that working, starting out with 3 sets of 5 and build your way up to 3 sets of 10 on each leg. You know, maybe it'll take you 6 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than 6 weeks to work with that. Then, after you work with the TRX, say you work for 6 weeks with the TRX, then your next progression would be to start to work in a platform, okay? So, after you work with the TRX, working on, so when it comes to a squat, you have your concentric movement and your eccentric movement. When it comes to a squat, the lowering of the squat is the eccentric, and then the pushing up, that's the concentric. So, what you want to do is set up on the platform, and so you're done with your TRX, you've already used that, you're going to move into your platform. And you want to find a platform that you know that you can push your body up from. One that's high enough or low enough that you can push your body up from. So standing in front of the platform, you do want to, where your heel is, you don't want to have your heel way out in front of you. So it is a trick to kind of find out where underneath your hip can you be the most stable. So you might need to play with that a little bit as you start to use the platform. So you want to work first lowering yourself to the platform and just touch your butt to the platform and then come back up and go. And you want to keep your leg off the floor as you go through the pistol, okay? And have that tension as you come up. So as you're coming up, brace and come up and get that tension. So you want to have one day that you're working through lowering yourself to the platform and then coming up. I would say start out with like 3 sets of 3, work your way up to 3 sets of 5, so that's on one day. On a second day, you want to work through starting in a seated position and then coming up to standing and driving through your heels and coming up to standing. And then lowering yourself back down, completely seated. Right? Really working on that tension coming up. Right? So you have another day, you do the same thing. You work through 3 sets of 3. Build yourself up to 3 sets of 5. And then from there, what you'll do is you'll slowly take that platform away, lower and lower and lower over the coming weeks. eventually your ultimate goal is to be able to do two things. You want to, I'm just going to grab a kettlebell. From the standing position, you want to get to the point where you can actually do a pistol squat without the platform. So you want to be able to body weight, keeping that tension, driving through that heel, lowering yourself down, and then coming up, driving through your heel, keeping that tension, raising your abdominals on the way up and coming up. You want to be able to do that from a standing position without the assistance of a platform, without the assistance of a TRX. So that's one thing you want to be able to do and work towards. And then as far as the seated position up, you also want to be able to work your way to a seated position on the floor and pushing yourself up. Okay? So this, being able to push yourself up from the floor that way, that is one thing that I found that really helped to strengthen my pistol squat and help me to build symmetry on both sides. So level 1, working with your TRX. Level 2, moving into a platform and working two different ways, standing to seated, and then a dead seated position to standing. So you have one day standing to seated, the other day from a dead seated position to standing. And then once you can do them without any assistance, right, the pistol squat from standing down and then from the seated position on the floor, no platform, to standing. Then what you want to do is work those two movements together. So you want to start to lightly load the movement of the pistol squat. So this is level 3. You want to start to lightly load the pistol squat. So this is a 10 kilogram, maybe use an 8 kilogram bell, something really light, 15 to 20 pounds. Hold it close to your chest, holding onto the handles, squeeze your shoulder blades, just like a goblet squat, keeping that tension. All right, and then going into your pistol squats here. And so you have one day that you're working with the pistol squats that from standing, loaded, to seated. On that same day, before you go into your loaded pistol squats, each set a good combination so that you continue to work that movement and strength from the ground up. What you want to do is you go into your first set, sit down, do 2 reps from the floor, up, come all the way back down, seated on the floor, up, all the way back down, take it to the other side, up, all the way back down, seated on the floor, up, okay? And then you're gonna go into your loaded squats after that. So then you grab that kettlebell, go into your loaded squats, and lower, and up. Do like 1 to 3 on each side, okay? And that's how each round will look for your level 3 pistol squat. One thing I want to mention is that when you set yourself up for your pistol squat from here, you want to have your heel pretty close to your butt. So just like you're setting yourself up for this platform, you have to find that sweet spot for where your heel lines up underneath your hip that provides you the best stability and strength. Same thing. For when you're in this seated position, you want to have your heel close to your butt, find that sweet spot for where your heel is positioned that's going to provide you with the most stability. So, and one thing I should have mentioned starting out with this in this tutorial is I should have mentioned, the 2 of the things that limits people with their pistol squats is either stability or strength, or sometimes a combination of the 2. So the stability, they either have trouble, or I should say like range of motion. So range of motion or strength. So they either have trouble, if it's range of motion, that having that ankle mobility and that range of motion to be able to come down below 90. That's what makes the pistol squat so tough, is that you have to come down below 90. So one of the limiting factors is that ankle mobility, that range of motion limitation. So working that range of motion limitation, okay, number 1. And then number 2, strength. Being able, once you get down there, having the strength to be able to push yourself back up. So training the pistol squat from the seated position, from the bottom position to standing, helps to build upon that. And the other thing that you can work on is single leg rocking. So single leg rocking is going to help with just patterning the movement of the pistol squat. So you can get into hands and knees position. Hands and knees position here. I'm tucking my toe under here. I'm making sure that my hips remain square to the ground as I come back. And I'm just going to rock back into my heel, working on my hip, knee, ankle mobility here, and working on patterning, keeping a straight line. So what you want to look out for here is you want to make sure that you're not, when you come back, like letting your hip come over your heel, kind of like rocking to the side. You want to make sure you're not doing that. You want to make sure you're just going straight back, driving your butt so it lines up directly with your heel. So the single leg rocking is actually a really good warm-up before you get into your pistol squats. So quick review, level 1 is with the TRX, working on that, starting with 3 sets of 5, building up to 3 sets of 10, at least 2 times a week, maybe 3 times a week, but 2 times a week is a good number. And then after that becomes easy, the 3 sets of 10, moving to the platform. And when you have the platform, you want to have one day that you're working to the platform for 3 sets of 5. I mean, you start out with 3 sets of 3, build yourself up to 3 sets of 5, and then you want to have a second day where you're working with the platform from the seated position, sitting on the platform, coming into standing, same rep scheme, 3 sets of 3, building up to 3 sets of 5. So that's your level 2. Your level 2 is with the platform, one day standing to seated, second day seated to standing. Level 3 is being able to do a freestanding pistol squat without any assistance, and being able to do it from standing to seated, or standing to the bottom and back up, and then also being able to do it from seated on the floor without the platform to standing. And when you get to your level 3, what you want to do is combine the seated from the floor to standing, as well as a lightly loaded pistol squat starting in the standing position. So you'll want to do 2 right, 2 left, each set from the seated position to standing. And then after you do that, go into your lightly loaded pistol squat from the standing position for 1 to 3 reps and just build up from there. And you can start out, before you start any of these sets, with some of that single leg rocking to help with the range of motion, ankle mobility, and then just that straight patterning, that drive back from your hip down to your heel. So there's no like hip rocking happening, okay? So I hope that guidance helps you to get started with your pistol squat. And definitely it's something that you need to do. It's not something you can do once a week. It's definitely something you need to be doing twice a week. And just because you need to make sure that your brain is catching on to what's happening with your body. All right, well, enjoy and get after your pistol squat.